The Charlotte Hornets. This one's spicy.
This one's spicy. This one, though, I mean, I'm just glad we're talking about it this way. LaMelo Ball is totally going to make an all NBA team. Overreaction, obviously. But what I would say is this is kind of where, like, you would have expected him to be, optimistically, I suppose. But when you go rookie of the year all-star in seasons 1 and 2, and then your numbers are pretty darn good still in year 3, but you get hurt, and then year 4 is lost. Like, so now you're in the all NBA running. That's like, oh yeah, okay, that's the trajectory that his first 2 seasons just like suggested was coming. So in a weird way, like, yeah, he's lost 2 years basically, 58 games across 2 seasons because of ankle injuries that he played in. But this is like, in a weird way, not shocking that he's on pace to average 25 and 7 with 60% true shooting, with like, which nobody does, basically, like LeBron, Harden, Jokic, Dame, Luka, Jordan, Bird. That's your list.
That's not one of those. Okay, LaMelo's the one that doesn't belong. If you even make that list once, though, that is insane.
It is, and it's like, and the numbers are there team wise too, because you look at the take the on off splits with an even bigger grain of salt, because you're slicing the sample in half in a lot of cases. But the Hornets offense, just like, it's number 4 in the league right now, and it's worlds better in terms of effective field goal percentage and turnover rate. Like, one's up, one's down, and it's easy to tell which when LaMelo's on the floor. And so it's like, it's the individual numbers, and it's the driving success at the thing he's supposed to drive success at, which is like just good, efficient offense. So, I mean, all NBA, especially for a guard, is extremely difficult.
Is it harder?
If you had to pick today, like, he's there. He's playing at that level.
Do you think it's easier, though, because they got rid of positions for guards now? I'd say it's probably gotten harder for bigs, right? And easier for guards.
Right. That was easy. Stupid. It used to be harder for guards. I forgot the positionless thing, which is nuts because it's been like 2 years of that. But still, like, for him to crack that group, that's something to do it coming off 2 basically lost seasons.
What would you be, honest question, what are you more worried about him not hitting? I would say it's probably the efficiency. Like, 7 assists is low for him.
Right.
So
yeah,
they have other ball handlers in there, which helps, but I don't see him dropping below, maybe intermittently, but he's going to average over 7 assists. He's comfortably over 25 points right now. It's the efficiency, and he's taken so many threes that you could see it pull back. But I think the biggest difference we've seen in his game, last year's rim pressure isn't technically there. And that was an abbreviated season because he was dealing with another ankle injury. But like, the downhill attacking has stuck. He's averaging almost 17 drives per 36 minutes, which is right in line with where he was last year. And he doesn't necessarily look a lot stronger. Maybe people who've watched him more closely, but like, it feels like he's playing into and through contact better. And his shooting, the number of shooting fouls he's drawing is through the roof. And so if you're going to get easier opportunities at the foul line, that one, it not only props up your scoring, it props up your efficiency. And so I think if you had to predict right now, so the all NBA thing is what's spicy, but if those are the benchmarks, like if he's averaging 25 and 7 on 60 plus true shooting, like if I had to predict it right now, I think that's going to hold. Like, I think he's going to end up with that benchmark stat line.
I would say the true shooting is the one I'd be a little skeptical of. He's been in the like 58, 59 range, I think, a couple times over his career. So it's not like a huge spike. It's just like, he's shooting 12 threes a game, which is a career high by like a mile. He's getting to the foul line over 6 times a game, which for with his game, that's maybe the free throw attempts and the threes. Like, maybe you lose some accuracy with that much volume from 3, and maybe the free throw attempts dip, and that knocks you down below 60%. But it's like, based on his career numbers, I know you're adding volume, like 60% isn't way beyond the realm of like what he could have done in the past. Like, so it's not a huge leap, I don't think, just to say that he'll hold that 25, 7 and 60%. Like, that would be an incredible season, but it's not like beyond him, I don't think.
I would still say, and I don't know if this is kind of baked into just the experience, you would still like to see the turnovers come down. Right now, he is posting a career high turnover rate. It's almost on 20% of his possessions. But like, yeah, I would assume that might come down at some point. And even if it doesn't, this number is definitely coming down. He's really just been destroying defenses out of the pick and roll. He's scoring 1.14 points per possession out of the pick and roll. that is in the 82nd percentile. But like 1.14 points as the scorer out of the pick and roll is just bonkers. And this is someone who I think is finally, I still worry about his finishing at the rim. Like it feels like he's getting closer to the basket, and maybe it's some of that's like the short mid-range stuff, but he feels more of like an every level threat than ever before when you watch him. And I don't know if it's because it was a different coaching staff last year, and I think we're seeing a lot of the same stuff this year. So I don't know, have the Charlotte Hornets unlocked him? Has he unlocked something within himself? But when I watch him, if you rewind to a season and a half ago, it feels like I'm watching a materially different, more lethal player on the offensive end. And it doesn't feel, I know a lot of people like to think he has a lot of junk volume. It's almost, I'm not comparing the two. Some of the shots he takes, it's because he makes them. This is like, it's like Steph Curry territory of, no, most players shouldn't take those. But when you're looking at Charlotte right now, okay, Trey Mann going off, great. Like, are you upset because Miles Bridges or Josh Green isn't getting more certain looks? No, I don't fucking care. Yeah. So I'm watching him, and if the season ended today, this might just be greasy, but I'm putting him on an All-NBA team.
I think one of the things I really am appreciating more about him is like you talk about 3-level scorers. Like he's one of those guys that almost has a fourth because he will spot up so far beyond the line when he's off the ball. And it's like, I don't know, maybe this is just us or just me. Like I would always think about like, you know what I love about Eric Gordon is, or like Ryan Anderson used to do this. It's just like, they're like 3 steps behind the line and you're just like, they will shoot it. So you have to be out that much farther. And if you're worried about like, well, no, not saying anyone is still doing this in a serious way, but like, oh, is Brandon Miller really gonna like get an opportunity to do? Yeah, he will. And he might even have a better opportunity than with most other stars because like LaMelo off the ball has immense value standing still because of where he's willing to shoot it from. So like that just makes fits easier with everyone. Not everyone can run around like Steph Curry, to invoke the name you just mentioned. Like there's so much offensive juice if you just have someone that will shoot it from 30 feet, like with, like it's a normal shot, not like it's a desperation thing, which LaMelo really will do. He spots up so far behind the arc.
I think if I had to pick out what might be, and I don't even know if it's the most unsustainable because it's already started dropping, is just the decision-making when it comes to his shots inside the arc. He is shooting a pretty low percentage again at the rim after being fairly high, and he's propped up his 2-point percentage. If he's hitting 50% of his twos, you're okay with that. But like right now it's propped up. I think he's 10 of 18 from floater range.
Yeah.
And so if those aren't going to continue to fall at a ridiculous clip, are you going to get, because the Hornets they're not a finished team, but I think they have the pathways. You don't look at them. Yeah, the defenses are overreacting and they're getting after him, but I haven't watched him and thought, oh, he can't navigate this. And so I think I'm still hopeful that he can be a better finisher at the rim, but he is wildly inconsistent when it kind of comes to his takeoff points and angles around the basket. And that's still something that he would need to work on. And again, I'm still saying this, there's been some pullback from where he was at, like in the first couple games of the season. And I still think this is someone who's all NBA caliber. I don't know if you have any additional thoughts on that. My follow-up question would also be, how much is he held back by Charlotte's inevitable record to wherever they are? Because whether you think they're going to go for it or tear it down or eventually lean into development, whatever, they're probably going to be a play-in team at best. And when you don't kind of have the cachet of a LeBron or a Steph, can you still make an all-NBA team coming off one of those squads?
Yeah, I think that is a hindrance, but I would also say like there's a path towards like sort of kind of recognition you would need for an all-NBA nod if say Charlotte does stick as a top 5 offense, which like actually it could, because it's 4th now. I think I already mentioned that, but like and part of this is LaMelo. They're turning it over 17%, almost 18% of the time, which is a bottom 3 figure in the league. So like cut that to a league average turnover rate. And then how good is this offense? So like if he's viewed as the driver of a top 5 offense.
Do you know why he's the driver? Because their offense drops by 16.5 points per 100 possessions when he's off the floor. So he absolutely is driving.
Yeah, you get a little bit of the Jokic case. We love the on-off stuff for like awards discussions,
especially less than 10 games into the season, right?
Yeah, it's even better. But yeah, like it'll be harder than it will be if you're on a top 4 seed in either conference, obviously. But if he's, let's say this is a weird hypothetical, but let's say Tyrese Halliburton last year had stayed healthy and the Pacers were 1st or 2nd in offense, but they won 42 games. I think he's, that would still be like an all NBA season. Because just like, oh, this guy is running one of the best attacks in the league, and he's clearly the reason it works. Like, you could apply some of that same logic to LaMelo, I think.
I think the only foil to this would be the claim. If you ask me right now to build my all NBA teams, right now I'm kind of in the mode of I'm going to call 15 players top 10 players right now. Is what I'm gonna do. So maybe it's weird at that time of year, but I think I would say it's been way more of an encouraging start for LaMelo than not, especially if you're a Hornets fan or you're the organization.
Absolutely. 100%.